everyone, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Sonia and Neale. I'm a dietitian, diabetes educator, and I love to cook. I love to teach cooking. I'm originally from Brazil, grew up in Brazil, and had the opportunity to come to US and lived in many other states in US and also other countries like Spain and Dominican Republic, and enjoying the culture and the food. So today I decided to make something special for you, a Brazilian dish, rice and beans. It's a very traditional dish. It's our comfort food. It's an interesting dish because the Brazilian cooking is very rich in cultures. You have influence of the Portuguese, the natives, and the African influence. So it makes a very rich cuisine. So the rice and beans, why? Well, again, I said that it's very traditional, and it's a perfect meal for everyday meal because it's balanced, it has all the nutrition ingredients that your body needs, and it tastes good. So let's see what we have here. This is the brown rice, the black beans, onions, parsley, garlic, and the spices, bay leaf, salt and pepper. And this is for the kale, already chopped. Then you have the sausage, the linguiça. If you do eat meat, it does add a nice flavor. Several local markets that you can find those ingredients. One is the farmer's market, your regular stores. But here in Lincoln is amazing. On the 27th Street, you have all different stores of ethnic markets. And that's where I got my linguiça from there, and my beans. In Brazil, we have a saying, põe mais água no feijão. That means put more water in your pot of beans. You can feed 1, 2, or 10 people. Just add more water to it. We can have basically beans every day. We like to eat beans at lunchtime. But special occasions, we can have a feijoada. And feijoada is a very traditional Brazilian food. And it's just like your beans, but you add a little bit more flavor. You add whatever meat you have. So you always can have your rice and beans and a churrasco, a barbecue. And it's just, everyone's happy with that. And you can feed everyone. Everyone has a belly full of beans, if you remember that. Okay, so let's start working, okay, on this. So first I'm going to start doing the beans, the prep. It's important when you get the beans, get the dry beans, okay, and you soak them overnight. You can cook the beans several ways. I have a pressure cooker that I love. So the beans already I cooked for an hour in a pressure cooker. And the important thing, you only add seasonings when the beans soft, like that. You can squeeze and you know it's soft. Then you can salt and add your seasoning. Otherwise, if you salt it before it's ready, you won't have a very nice product. It's going to be hard, not tasty. Now is the secret. Everything is, you have your secret sauce. So let's do the secret sauce. Again, what you want to do in a pan, you want to add some olive oil and maybe a tablespoon of olive oil. And you're going to chop the onions, so about a cup of onions. So here, finely chopped. You always want to make sure the onions are nice and cooked. When they're a little bit yellowish, that's when you get the flavor from it. Brazilian cooking, we use a lot of garlic and onions, but it's always a pain to chop, the preparation. That's why it takes a long time. So garlic. There are different ways you can do the garlic. You can use a minced or mortar, or you can just chop it. But one good thing that I learned, the garlic, I put in a container to remove all this extra skin, and put it in a container like that, and then shake, shake, shake. And then you get something that's a lot cleaner, like this, okay? And my other trick, I dump this in water, like that. So when I'm cutting, it's not messy. So that's a great, so you just can grab it here and then chop it, okay? So you see, it's a lot cleaner. So let me do a little demonstration here. See, it's a lot cleaner. And then I like this a little bit, put a little bit of salt, so it's easier to mince. There are all sorts of different ways, okay? Depending on the culture that you come from, you might use one method or the other. See, now you have this, and I can put it in my onion mixture. And what I do sometimes, if I cut it ahead of time, I leave my garlic in olive oil so I can use it as a prep for another dish, so it's really easy. So let's see, look at this. Now I like it. You can see the onions with a little bit more color. And now I add my garlic. I'm going to leave some garlic to my kale. So I put some garlic here, and I can smell it. I wish you could smell it. It's really good. And that's all about cooking. Cooking is not a job. It's a process. So when we do here, we do with the family, with friends. So I love my kitchen because we all connected. Everyone's doing something, helping out, and makes more fun. I think that's a way to do. Cook with your friends, with your family. Oh, and that's so good for your heart and for alma también, and your soul. Okay, so we have this, and now the secret. I'm going to add now the linguiça. One thing, I'm going to cut the linguiça. Always worry about cross-contamination. Always use a different board for your meat. So I have this one, this board is red, so reminds me this is only for meat, okay? Because you'll be amazed the number of people that get sick due to cross-contamination. So here you're adding the beans, and I put this away. Okay, so the beans is already cooked. Now we're going to season it. So you put about a cup, okay, of the beans in a blender. As you can see, as we are sauteing this, and the meat, the linguiça, is absorbing all the flavor from the garlic and the onions. And now we add the paste, the beans that I blended a little bit. It just adds a nice consistency. Don't ask me why we do that, but my mother, my mother-in-law, my Brazilian friends that are great cooks, they taught me, do this. And my husband, it's a shame that he's not here. He's a great cook. Cooking together with love and fun. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding my seasonings. And now you can go crazy. You can use your typical salt and pepper. So I put a little bit pepper. I put a little bit. Take in consideration your health. People with a high blood pressure maybe go easy on the salt, but then add more flavor. Talk about what's around you. You know, you don't need special ingredients. Brazil is huge. It's a melting pot, and different cuisines in different regions of Brazil. So Bahia, it has a lot of more African influence than south of Brazil, for instance. And then from Africa, we got a lot of the spicy pepper, really spicy foods. So just cook from your from what you have around your household, around your village, around the city. I've got this blend from the farmer's market. It's great. It's just a blend of different peppers and gives a nice flavor. So I just added this a little bit. So it's all about taste, what your family likes. So before I burn this, you can see that it's getting the flavor. So you cook it a little bit. And now we're going to add this to the big pot of beans. Now, see how pretty you combine everything. Thing I forgot that we do add a lot is bay leaves. Okay, drop some bay leaves there. Also adds the flavor. And then you just let it cook for another 15 minutes. So I'm going to leave this aside. And now we're going to make the rice. Again, the Brazilian rice is really great. And the key thing is, again, you use your olive oil, or saute your onions with your garlic and olive oil, and just makes it fluffier and tastier. You know, about a tablespoon of olive oil, and then you have your onions. It's so nice when you have everything prepped. You can leave all this in the freezer if you want, on your fridge, depending on how often you use those. So when you're cooking, you're in a hurry, so just boom, 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 just add everything pre-cut and then just let it go. Again, I'm going to put a little bit of garlic. So white rice versus brown rice. Brown rice is a lot higher in fiber, but make sure you rinse it. All the rices, make sure you rinse, especially brown rice, you want to rinse it. So, and again, my patients, my dialysis patients, they love this because for dialysis, you cannot eat a lot of potassium. And so instead of potatoes, and they can go for the rice, and you can make a very fluffy rice with fiber. That's really good. And if you have diabetes, definitely more fiber you eat, the better it is. It doesn't affect your blood sugar as much as white rice or just plain bread and potatoes. So see, I saute that. The brown rice might take about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on your stove. So when you saute like this, now it's time to add water. So it's 1 cup of rice and for double of water, okay? So I use a cup here. So I use boiling water because it goes faster, okay? So here I said 1 cup, and then I use 2 cups of water. Oops. That's why you use hot water. It was not hot enough. To make it pretty, I add a little bit of parsley too in the water. Okay, so you can see it has a nice color. The water is a nice broth. That's what makes it so rich in flavor. Let it cook for about, let's say 30 minutes, okay? And then you close it. The last thing you want to do is the kale. And the kale, again, is collard greens or kale. Is very traditional to add that to your rice and beans, your feijoada. It adds the flavor, the texture, just the combination is really unique and it's a must. You have to have all those ingredients. It goes well together, you'll see. So with the kale or collard greens, I already cut it for you. But what you want to do is cut really in thin slices, thin, very thin, like this, okay? And it's really fast. So you, again, in another pan, let it warm up and add a little bit of, again, olive oil. And this time I'm not going to mix, I'm not going to use the onions, I'm just going to use the garlic. And the collard greens, actually, a lot of cultures that we don't use collard greens as in a salad, for instance. We want to cook it a little bit because it's very bitter. And I remove the steam. So you just want to kind of saute the process here. And it's really fast. So let's see, I'm already getting my garlic. Already a little bit of toasted to see how the color is really nice. And then you have fun. I love my kids like this. I see, oops, see, pop, 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 and here, voila. And then just mix, and it's going to shrink. So if you have like a bunch of collard greens, it will shrink to half of its size. But this is one way I can get my kids to eat collard greens. It's not hard on your stomach, it's not that bitter. It just gives a nice salty flavor and crunchiness. So that's it, it's ready. And again, collard greens, oh my goodness, it's very high in iron, vitamin C, and fiber. It's a powerful ingredient. So our rice is on the way, and then our beans is on the way, okay? Now is a good time to relax, talk to your friends, your family, until the food is ready. Okay, now you're relaxed and ready to eat. So let's build the plate. The prato feito, the Brazilian way of putting things together, is really important. First, we want to start with the rice. So this is the brown rice, but again, you could use the white rice. And then you put the beans on kind of top of the rice. And then you put the kale next to it. And another ingredient that we found out that's really important is the oranges. So you have the rice, the beans, the kale, and the oranges. There are other ingredients you could add, like the farofa and things like that. But for today, we decided just to make this. The oranges, well, we found the typical Brazilian feijoada or beans with meat can be a little bit high in fat. So in the old days, the history says that people realized that if they do eat oranges with the beans, if it's a very high fat, the oranges the acid kind of breaks down the fat in your stomach, so it helps digestion. That's one theory. The other one is the vitamin C. The oranges is very high in vitamin C, which helps absorb the iron from your beans and your kale. So this is the perfect plate. Nutritionally, it has all your ingredients that your body needs. It has your brown rice, your beans, your veggies, and the fruit. It's very rich in proteins, in iron, and vitamins. And it's tasty, and it has a history behind it. That's why it's important, is it feeds your soul. It brings good memories. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you can bring that to your family, to your friends. Thank you, and bon appetit.